Miami-Dade, getting your COVID-19 vaccination is an important part. Help everyone stay safe as we continue to fight the spread. And we can protect those most vulnerable around us. With easy access to vaccination locations and the growing ability for more people to be protected, it's our best shot to keep moving forward. It's our best shot for a strong, healthy community. For more information, visit miamidade.gov/vaccine.
Good morning. It's Tuesday and 11 a.m., which means it's time for the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM, where we present live weekly performances in the WDNA Jazz Gallery and feature students, faculty, and alumni from Florida International University School of Music and Performing Arts. I am your host today, Raquel Araujo, and along with producer Dr. Ross Beagle and executive producer Dr. Karen Veloz, we'd like to welcome you to our show. Whether you're listening to us from home, in your car, or live on wdna.org/FIU, we are delighted to have you with us. Today, we are pleased to feature the FIU Jazz Combo 2 under the leadership of Professor Gary Campbell and featuring Ivan Lucia on trumpet, Isaac Nyman on saxophone, Edgar Pantoja on piano, Pablo Camacho on bass, and Enrique Bulli on drums. I am pleased to introduce you to Professor Gary Campbell. Good morning. What is the first piece we're going to hear today?
Morning, V. I will let Ivan introduce the songs, each selection, and we'll start with a song, and then we'll go on. I guess we should announce each one as we go. That would be good. Okay.
This first one's going to be Soulful by Rahman. by Herbie Hancock.
That was wonderful. I'd like to take a moment to thank WDNA because this show wouldn't be possible without them. Education plays a huge role here on WDNA, and this is our last day of spring membership drive, where we're playing the good music you love and asking for your support. Our FIU Music, our goal is $1,000. Support the future generation of all-star musicians. Your donation matters today and every day. Give online at wdna.org or give us a call at 305-662-8889. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you. So, Professor Campbell, why don't you tell our listeners more about this band and the work you put in with them at FIU?
Yes. Yeah, this is Jazz Combo 2, and they're working on a lot of very challenging material. First, I'd like to introduce everybody again. Ivan Lucia on trumpet, Edgar Pantoja on piano. Sorry, my pronunciations are not always the greatest. And Isaac Nyman on saxophone, Pablo Camacho on bass, and Enrique Pulli on drums. Incidentally, it's interesting because Pablo Camacho's father was a student at FIU at one point along the line. So it's good to see father and son and, generations coming through. We're working on, challenging material. We always like to work on things that are within the abilities of all the members of the group, but yet that are challenging and have lots of things that need to be worked with, and so we spend a lot of time with that, how to, be true to the compositions and yet bring creativity into it and make somewhat of an arrangement beyond just the basic song. And they're doing very well with that. We have a lot of energy in the band. Ivan has taken the initiative to work with the other guys regarding arrangements of some of the tunes and selection of tunes, and finding the ones that are the most complementary for these musicians here. And on that note, I mean, this is combo 2, but in combo 1 was here, 2 weeks ago or something. And these are ranked not necessarily by how great the guys are and everything, because everybody is doing very well, but experience level has something to do with it, and so that determines a lot about the repertoire, and the amount of original music that's being presented. Ivan has a tune that they're going to play in a few minutes, and Edgar has a very challenging arrangement which is coming up next, of a Caravan, which was a tune that Duke Ellington made famous, but it's actually composed by Juan Tizol, who was from Puerto Rico, as were a lot of the early greats in the jazz world, especially around New Orleans, everywhere really, but there was a lot of the jazz influence coming from the islands, from Cuba, Puerto Rico in particular, and Jamaica. Some of the greats like Wynton Kelly and people like that were from Jamaica. So it's an interesting thing to work with, here. And my main problem is basically making sure I get everybody's name pronounced in an appropriate way. And they're doing very well. You know.
So how did you end up playing and teaching jazz saxophone?
Excuse me?
How did you end up playing and teaching jazz saxophone?
Oh, well, I've been playing the saxophone since I was about 15 years old. I played clarinet before that, but that's when I started doing professional gigs. And, I never thought of teaching, but as you go along, you have learning experiences from teachers if you're fortunate enough, my hometown of Indianapolis, I was lucky. That town, there's a great jazz tradition with a lot of great players, and luckily one of them was this gentleman, David Baker, who was a trombonist at that time and was working around. He was also a member of the George Russell band, Quincy Jones band, Count Basie, a lot of other people. And he was teaching private lessons. And so I had the opportunity when I was a high school kid to go to his house on Saturdays and take a lesson. And he got me started in learning, you know, tell me what I got to learn all the major scales, all that kind of stuff, start learning tunes just from the ground up. So that was very good. And then along the way, of course, you learn from your peers, other guys that you're getting together with in school, playing gigs with, forming groups, trying to learn tunes, you know, the whole pursuit of the whole thing. But it's in a very informal, you know, situation. This was before jazz education really existed as a major or anything in colleges and universities. So it was mostly on the bandstand that you learn and hanging out with your friends. And then, you know, at some point I moved to New York City and lived there and was part of that situation. Learned tons from all of the great musicians that I would play with and hang out with, as well as all of the greats that were performing in New York at that time from the late 60s through the mid 80s. So that was basically my background.
Yeah, that's amazing. What was the next piece we were gonna hear that you mentioned?
Excuse me?
The next piece we're gonna hear.
The next piece we're going to hear is Caravan. I'll introduce it. This time, I'll let Ivan rest for a moment. Caravan, but as I said, Duke Ellington's band made this popular, and it was a drum feature quite often. And Edgar Pantoja, a great pianist from Cuba, made his arrangement of this, which is very challenging for the guys and for me,
Yeah.
you know, because it's got other influences that I didn't grow up with, and these guys did to an extent, because a handful of, most of the band is Cuban except for Cuban American, except for Isaac, of course. In any event, they got a great arrangements of this, and I guess it's time to play it now.
Yeah.
Okay, Caravan.
You're listening to the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM with FIU Jazz Combo 2. We'll be right back after these messages. Radio. If you've been meaning to join the WDNA member family, now is a good time during our spring membership drive. Help us reach our goal of $1,000. Thank you for supporting education and all the music we value on the airwaves in our community. For more info and to donate at wdna.org or give us a call during office hours at 305-662-8889. This week, the FIU School of Music will be hosting the following concerts. Tonight, Tuesday, April 4th, the Wertheim School of Music and Performing Arts proudly presents FIU's University Brass Choir at 7:30 p.m. in the Wertheim Concert Hall, as well as the String Chamber Ensemble concerts at 8 p.m. in the Wertheim Recital Hall. On Wednesday, April 5th, at 7:30 p.m. in the Wolfsonian, we are delighted to present the String Noise Duo at the 26th New Music Miami ISCM Festival. For this and many more exciting events, you can find information at fiu.universitytickets.com or musictics@fiu.edu. And now, back to our show with FIU Jazz Combo 2.
This next song is called Finale, and it's an original written by me.
You've been listening to FIU Jazz Combo 2 featuring Ivan Lucia on trumpet, Isaac Nyman on saxophone, Edgar Pantoja on piano, Pablo Camacho on bass, and Enrique Puli on drums on the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. I've been your host today, Bianca Araujo, and along with producer Dr. Ross Beagle and our executive producer, Dr. Karen Veloz, I'd like to thank our production crew, FIU graduate students Josephine, Jerry, Paul, and Ruben, WDNA sound and tech wizard Alex Aldrich, and the staff of WDNA 88.9 FM for today's broadcast. If you would like more information on all our programs, make sure to call 305-348-2896 or simply like our Facebook and our Instagram page to stay up to date with all our upcoming performances. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to join the FIU Music Hour for more great music every Tuesday at 11 a.m. till noon. Thanks again to our guests, all the parents, friends, and students for listening to WDNA. Please consider making a tax-deductible donation to support this community service. Lots of folks give $60 a year or $5 a month. Help us reach our $1,000 goal for the FIU Music Hour online at wdna.org or call us at 305-662-8889 before 5 p.m. So what's the last piece we're gonna hear today?
The last tune is called Top of My Head by Roy Hargrove.
Thank you.